Welcome to this installment of the Keeping Your Business Healthy series. My name is Pat Hammond, and I am the director of the New Hampshire Business Guild. I'm joined today by business strategist and supply chain expert, Dr. Cynthia Kalina-Kaminsky, president of Process and Strategy Solutions. Last time we talked about understanding your employees' work styles to improve internal communication. Today's episode is part 2 of Cynthia's tips for how to communicate effectively with your team. And we will be expanding on that topic by looking at how to optimize internal communication so it's engaging. Cynthia?
Thank you, Pat. So last time, if you'll remember, we were talking about all of these pieces of the puzzle being scattered in remote location, the pieces of the puzzles being your remote workers. And the problem, just as you said, was how in the world do we make our internal communications engaging so that we keep everybody excited about the work that needs to be done and the fact that we are going to move forward and get through this. The trick is to make the messaging engaging, not salesy. Truly engaging for your workforce means that each virtual meeting must be carefully planned so that people don't turn you out. If you thought it was bad on site in a live meeting when people were looking at their phones, you can imagine all of the different distractions that can attract and distract from your meetings if you're not engaging. For example, I was just on a live webinar a bit ago where an entity, one of the large time training and material entities, well, they had multiple people in a Zoom style format. They had the live chat boxes and all sorts of other things going on, but it was absolutely terrible. They did not convey the sense of why we were on, why they needed to do what they were presenting they were going to be doing, and then make it so that we could understand where our part was in all of this. They sort of had a general understanding of who's going to go first and second, and a little bit about what the messaging was going to be, but it wasn't tight. So what happened was when they all got on, they were distracted in what they were talking about, which meant that we didn't understand what was going on. Now, as you're doing all of this work, yes, you do need to be different. You need to make sure that there's a reason for people to engage, and it can't be the same all the time. And you'll see, as Pat and I work, we're going to be changing up our format for that exact same reason. But in the beginning, you need to at least get some things down before you start trying to change up all of the different aspects of it. It's not difficult to ace the messaging. You just have to spend your time creating and practicing it. This is what builds trust in your ability to lead, and it also allows you to begin leading your employees on how to integrate the lessons learned that they are gaining while during this time of crisis. But you can only do this, again, by keeping all of your people engaged. As we talked earlier, not only are they sheltering in place, but they're also juggling at-home family and other obligations, some of which demand office hour time. So how can you as a manager or an exec keep the messaging exciting, meaningful, pertinent to their future, and even approachable? Even if you don't have the audio-visual team at the ready, you can make engaging webinar-type videos. Have a remote person handle some of the technical aspects so that you can handle the presentation. They collect the chat and the questions, and they present it to you during the webinar. You get to switch the slides as you're engaging your employees. And please, in the beginning, do use a script. We've all seen videos where there was no message, no point, but a lot of wandering talk. You don't want to be that person. Use a script, and as you get used to this medium, then go ahead and reduce that script to bullet points per slide that just give you a point of reference so that you continue to stay on point and on message. During the Q&A, you do get to go off the script, but practice short, simple to understand explanations. And remember, you do need to look into that little circle that's your camera on your computer when you're giving these webinar types of presentations. It makes people feel like you're talking to them, that you're engaging them. And I know in the beginning with a script, you'll be looking up and down, but at times You'll be practicing when it is that you need to look into that camera. Feels weird, but you'll get used to it. Each presentation that you or a member of the management or executive team give, well, it's going to fit into a well thought out communication plan. As with all crises, a little good does come from it. How long have you wanted to actually start to make your internal communications more engaging, more meaningful, start to get more information out to people so that they could use it to actually further and promote the business? There's no time like the present to accomplish this. In our example plan that we're going to show you in just a minute here, we're going to host an executive webinar for our employees once per week, each week for an hour. Our schedule is going to be like this. The first week of the month, the CEO is going to discuss the state of the business. That means the CEO will provide a macro picture of the business revenue and the customer activity, as well as a strategy for keeping everyone on board. In the second week, our chief sales officer is going to start to talk about what's going on in the different global regions that we work with. When are they going to restart? When are the levels of buying from us going to get back to normal, or at least what they were before we started? What are the big risks that could get into the way of being able to make those sales? If you don't have global communities that you serve, then you can talk about your regional communities or the communities on the local level. The next week, we have our program or marketing manager, and they are going to talk about the different products that we have. Is there still interest in them now with all of the changes that have gone on? Will there be interest in them later? And how do those products and offerings and services, how do they need to change to be able to adjust to the new ways that work is being performed? You could host dedicated sessions that would focus on the new normal of what your products or your services need to be, how the current ones need to adapt and change in order to meet that new normal that you're expecting. Sharing all of this data helps spur new ideas in your employee ranks. Make sure that you have an easy process to capture the ideas and then allow others to play off of them. Create synergy. If ideas are accepted and truly looked at with the intent of looking at them to better improve the products and the services that are offered, then you'll receive even more ideas. Don't limit them just on the products and services though. Go ahead, open up the field so that they can look at how your internal systems work, how the processes are working, whether or not there need to be changes to the way you do work or the way you're aligned. Having everyone help build for the future keeps everyone engaged, and it benefits the business in both the short term as well as the long term. You get the new ideas as well as regularly assigned project deliverables. Your job in management is to maintain boundary constraints, though, so that your creative food company doesn't go off and start launching into delivery drone creation because you want the refrigerated options. To recap, create a communication plan that will share pertinent data with everyone and will begin to be open to the input that you need for your business to survive in changing times, which means that you can't keep things the same and still expect different results. Have everyone brainstorm for better products, services, systems, and processes. It's you and your team's job to keep everyone on target so that the business continues to move forward, not get sidetracked.
If you would like to work with Cynthia and I on a specific topic, we are offering a 20 or 45-minute one-on-one session. To schedule a coaching session, please visit aligningstrategy.com and click the sign up button. Also, ebooks are coming. As I've mentioned before, we have been asked to expand on some of the topics that we've discussed during the Keeping Your Business Healthy series, and we will soon be releasing a couple ebooks and maybe even a workbook to help you get your business back on track as we look forward to the end of the COVID-19 crisis. Thank you for attending this installment of our Keeping Your Business Healthy series. If you have a question or topic suggestion for a future episode, we want to hear from you. You can contact me directly at success@nhbusinessguild.com, or you can reach Cynthia at success@processstrategysolutions.com.